Hello and welcome to this lesson of the domestic locksmithing course. Today we're going to be talking about broken key extraction. This is quite a common problem for locksmiths. So what it is, often on a key you'll get a low cut, and after time you'll get a crack in the key where the customer's turning the key a lot and often forcing the key, and what will happen after a while, that key will just snap in the door. Or another reason it happens is because there's actually no handle on the door itself, and the people tend to use the actual key as a handle itself. So once they've turned the key, they're pulling the whole weight of the door just on the key. Now what will happen eventually is that key will just snap off in the lock, especially if you've got like a low cut on the key itself. It's more likely to break because obviously there's less metal there, but there's a lot of reasons why it can happen. The customer may even put the wrong key in the lock, try to turn it and force it. It may snap off. The snib could be down on the inside and they try to force it and it snaps. So there's loads of reasons why the key can snap. Even a pin can jam in there and snap it. So this is a really important lesson to think about. So first let's talk about the tools that we use to remove broken keys. We've got these kind of, which look like tweezers almost, or little pliers. What they'll do is just grab the key. If it's just sticking out of the lock, we can grab it with those. These are the most common ones. What it is just like a tiny piece of metal, but it's actually got little teeth on it. It's got little sort of one-way teeth on it. I don't know if we can see that on camera there. But what that will do is it will just grip the broken key out of the lock. We've got various other things, these tiny little hooks here, these kind of things, but the main one that I use is this. These have worked out pretty good for me, and you can actually buy these on Amazon, all these kind of tools. If you just go to the locksmithmentor.com/locksmith-tools, I actually show you a good resource of the cheapest broken key extractors you can get. So now I'm going to do a little demo and show you how we can remove broken keys. Okay, so the first method is if the door itself is actually open, or you're able to open the door by slipping it, or maybe going through the letterbox or another method, you could actually take the pin tumbler out of the door, just unscrew it. And what you can do, this is the easiest way, is at the back of the lock itself, if you get one of your little tools, or you could just use a normal pick, what you do, so the broken key is actually stuck in there. What I've done is just snapped a key and put it in there just for demonstration purposes. But if you get your little tool and just insert it into the back of the lock, what you'll find is you can actually push the key out like that. So that's the easiest method. So the key that will then come out, sorry, a bit of reflection there, so the key will come out. So that's the easier method. That's when you can actually get access to the back of the lock, if you can open the door. So now we're going to talk about if you can't actually open the door, we can try to remove this broken key. So if I'm just going to set it up on the bench now. For example, we've arrived at the customer's house. The customer snapped the key off in the lock. I've actually put a bit of broken key in there. The first thing to do before you do anything is get a bit of lubricant like WD-40 and just spray it into the lock. There's often another reason the key can snap in there is if the lock's very dry. What happens is one of the pins goes down into the cut and gets trapped in there because the lock's so dry. So that will definitely help to start off with. Give it a minute as well while the actual lubricant sort of does its work in there. Then you could either use a little broken key extractor that looks like this. You could try with one of those first because these are a bit stronger. So always insert it into the middle of the keyway, then try to push the pins up, and then you want to sort of come from the top of the key and angle it down like this, so you're putting pressure on the top, and you're kind of just raking it out. Now I never have much luck with this tool. I use a different one. I'm just showing you for demonstration. So this is if you wanted to use this one. Again, I don't have great luck with these. So I'm going to show you what I use. So I use one of these little wires, and they've got teeth on them, as you can see. And what I do is I insert this into the top of the lock, try to get all your pins out the way, and just wriggle it in as far as you can into the top, and then you'll need to put pressure down and pull out. So if we go for that again, wriggle it in, and if you put pressure and pull. One thing I have learnt with removing broken keys is don't give up so easily. It looks impossible at first, it looks really difficult, and you think you'll never do it, but if you just persist with it, you will eventually get it. They come in different widths as well, these, so you can get even thinner ones. I've got a nice thin one here, so maybe there's not quite enough gap at the top. So if I just wriggle that in as far as it will go, put some pressure down on it and pull, can see that key's now coming out, and this was all the way at the back, this broken key, so there we go. And sometimes you'll get it to this position, and as you can see it's just sticking out there. Sometimes it will get it to this position and there might still be a pin trapped on it, so you can't pull it out. So that's where these little ones come in handy. What you do is just lock this onto the broken key like so, and just pull like that. As you can see, there's your broken key there. So it's about persisting with this. I've spent up to half an hour trying to get a broken key out, because I know that it will eventually come out. It feels impossible at first, but if you put plenty of lubricant in there and just keep going at it, you can often look inside the keyhole. I'm not going to be able to show you on camera, but if you can get a good look down the keyway, you'll be able to see your progress. You can see the key moving out, and it's just about persisting. So you get your little wire pick. This is what I always have success. You push the pins up, go all the way to as far in as you can, and I put pressure down like this with my finger and pull. That's how you can sort of rake it out. So these little teeth on this extractor is really sharp, so they'll pull it out. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example on a Euro cylinder. Okay, one little tip with a Euro cylinder, if you do have access to the other side of the door, you might find if you've got a spare key, if you push the correct key in from one side, you may be able to force the broken key out on the other side. So that's one thing to think about. It's worth trying, because often when you put the key in, it engages the little cam in the middle and it will push it out the other end. But in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert a broken piece of key into here, right the way to the back, like that, and then I'm going to show you how we remove that on the bench. Okay, so here we are with our Euro lock. As you can see, I've used a really old rusted one out of my scrap box, which I've found here. In this case, I'm going to show you when the key breaks off flush with the core. It makes it a lot easier, because you can actually, obviously you can see the key itself, so it's not right at the back of the lock like I showed you before. However, this key is very stuck in there. So this is genuinely a cylinder that's got a key snapped off in there. And if I try and show you the keyway there, you can see that there's a gap in between. We've got the actual broken key there, and we've got this gap here. That's where we're going to insert our key extractor to try and remove it. So I recommend using one of these ones because they're a bit stronger. So first what we do is we put our lubricant. I think we've done that already, just to let that sort of work in, and then we want to go into that gap and push up with your thumb here quite firmly and pull out at the same time. As you can see how firmly wedged in that key really is. Really doesn't want to come out. And it's just about persistence with these. They'll never want to come out. Oh, so that's really stuck. So I'm going to try with my wire, if I can get in that gap there. No, that's too weak. So we'll go back to our hook. We can get that in there. There we go. And you might find once you've got that out part of the way, the whole thing will come out like that. Now if you get it part way and you still can't pull it, obviously you use your little tool here, which you can get on Amazon, and just click it on. It's got like a device where it actually locks in place. See here, so once you've clamped down on it, it actually locks in place without me holding it closed, so you can just pull that out nicely, and there's your broken key. Now it is actually even possible, if the customer's got the other half of the key, you should be able to take that to a locksmith, or if you've got a key cutting machine yourself, you'll be able to duplicate that because it's quite a clean cut. So then if you could duplicate that in your van with using the other half, you could then just come and open the lock, providing obviously there's not a huge problem with the lock, it should open. So there we go, that's broken key extraction. And again, it's about persistence. Just keep trying. Sometimes it will feel impossible, it will be pretty soul destroying sometimes, but just keep pursuing it and eventually you'll get it out. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.